Hi everyone, welcome to this video. It's essentially a remake on the formation for 7aside called the 2-3-1. I've decided to remake these into three parts just to break it down a little bit more. So in video 1 we're going to look at the formation, we're going to look at building out from the back. Video 2 we're going to look to get the ball out into this midfield area and turn it into a goal attacking opportunity. And the third video is looking about finishing, some dedicated runs from the players in every position. And so hopefully by the end of the three videos, you'll have a really good idea of how to master the 2-3-1. Okay, so back to this one. So we have a formation. So we have two centre backs. And if we're comfortably keeping the ball, then the position of these two centre backs is quite important. So let's say we have the ball and we're transferring it around here. Okay, transferring just means keeping the ball from one side to the other, keeping it away from the opposition essentially. So these centre backs are on the shoulders of the D. So if you think about your own shoulders, imagine your head is here, okay, at the top of the circle, and these would be your shoulders, right? So essentially it's the top left and top right. So if I'm talking about centre backs need to be on the shoulders of the D, that's what I'm talking about. If they're inside, it's not great. Okay, it's going to limit your possibilities of moving the ball effectively. So we have a centre half. Centre half, really important player, probably one of your most confident on the ball. And they say within the Ds. Okay, so you're not going wider than these Ds. If you do, you're just compacting space and making it easy for the opposition. We have two wing backs. So the wing backs operate the whole wing. Okay, so you need to be very fit, very alert to what's going on. So lots of counter defense and counter offense roles. So really important positions. And yeah, essentially you run the whole half. And the centre forward, you are a high player and you stay high. Like I said before, if you come in and compress the space, it's really easy to defend. So you are a high player. Maybe not always this high, but certainly a high option at all times. Okay, so let's talk about building out from the back. So we have the opposition, terrifying opposition. Maybe they're top of the league or whatever. I've just made them look as scary as I possibly could. And to not confuse them with us. Okay, so we're the coloured ones. They're the scary looking ones over here. So let's say we're taking a 16 hit. This could work essentially if the ball was here on the halfway line. It doesn't matter where the ball is. Just it's easy to set things up from building out from the back. Right, so if this is the situation, this is a typical press from players from teams rather with three. So the ball to goal line, and then there's a left slip and a right slip. So we can't stay like this because we're just going to get destroyed essentially. So let's look at these left players over here. They're kind of wasted because the ball's on the right hand side. So you have to be thinking, is the ball central or wide? Now this is over to the right side. So I'd say it's to the right hand side. So it's pretty wide. So these two players need to come in. And I'd expect the centre back to really drop. And the further you drop depends on how high they are. If they're really high, you want to drop as far back as you can so when you get the ball, you have a maximum time to make your decision. Imagine if you were here and you got the ball. By the time it's reached you, that player's on you, so it's not fun. So get as far back as possible when they're high pressing. The left wing back, you're just going to come in just in case we need you to counter defense essentially. The right wing back, you are. Oh, actually, before I go to that, so these two players, please, you can come in, but never go further than halfway because you just compact the space and make it too easy to defend. The centre forward, you can come across, so just a lateral run. You don't want to come into this area because you're compacting the space for the centre half. We need the distance between these lines, so this line of defence, the midfield, and the centre forward needs to be three separate lines. And the right wing back, you're going to drop because it's on your side. Right, so then it's about reacting, seeing what they do, because based on what they do is going to determine your decision. So let's say this centre back just takes a quick little drag to the right, okay? So this essentially starting the play. What I don't want you to do is dribble into this area. If you start dribbling into this area, you're running into the space occupied by this right wing back. You've made it really small, so these three players here can really defend that area. Please remember this. When you're attacking, your job is to stretch the play, create loads of space, not constrict it. The defender's team is to constrict the space and make it hard for you to play out. So if the attacking team do that, you're making the defender's job really easy. Okay, so we've dragged it back, and let's say it's a disorganized team. They're new, they're young, whatever. And all three of these players have gone, oh, there's the ball, let's go get the ball. Okay, this is a dream scenario because you go, all right, yeah, I'll just slip it over there. Slipping it down the left side of this player because they're all just ball focused, bosh, and we're in. Now, a general rule with any position, if there is space in front of you, you occupy it. So you're going to look to go into that space until you're engaged. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next video, the decisions you can make once you're engaged. Okay, what about if they're a bit more organized? So let's say, for example, you drag it back, you start the play, and this time we've got the centre forward, the correct person, putting pressure on the ball. We've got maybe their wing back saying, right, you're not passing to your wing back. You've got the other wing back saying, okay, you're not passing across the centre, or if you do, thank you very much, I'm going to score a goal. And this player might be a bit more putting a bit more pressure on the centre half. Okay, so our options are now this person needs to realise that this is no longer an option. Okay, there's no point coming all the way back here. Just chill out because we might need you for the next bit. Again, the centre forward, you've also got to realise this, and you've also got to realise what this person is doing. So the person further up the field has a better view of what's going on, and you make decisions based on what other people are doing. So the centre half, that's a really great run, a lateral run behind defenders. If you stay still, they know where you are, so it's really easy. So a lateral run confuses them. That's your job, put chaos in their mind. And you can simply make a pass down the left foot. It's pretty easy. It can be more into this space. I'll put it just there, but more into this space, make it harder to reach. Other option is to transfer. And you might make that transfer option if this player is really tightly player mark on, or even front marking that player, saying, well, that's not on either. So you might have to go back. But let's just imagine our centre half is one of our better players. Every time we pass, we have confidence in that player, and they don't mind having a player on their back. If you are in this position, just always do a pre-scan to see if you can turn and to see if there is a player on your back or not. So in this instance, this is what we're going to talk about in video 2 more, but you could easily just slip it out here, and then because that space is in front of you, we'd encourage you to occupy it until you're engaged. And that's what video 2 is again, what decisions you can make in these scenarios. Okay, so let's just pop that player back. Also, the centre forward could look for this pass in beyond this line, this through ball. It's pretty risky because you're passing through the forehand of the centre forward. So they may make that run, but it doesn't mean you have to do it. I'd personally probably prefer to switch it in that instance. Okay. Another thing is, what about if the centre half doesn't move? The centre forward needs to realise that and say, okay, you've left that pocket for me. So you might run one time, get the ball, or you might hold out next time. And the centre forward makes that run, and then we can pass into that pocket there. Okay, well, what about if they do this sort of press, this really high press? They're saying you can't transfer it, you can't pass it to this player, and maybe this player is right on here, so you can't pass it here. Well, this is going to be pretty difficult, and it depends what you've got in your locker. But it's essentially down to these two. It might be easier for this player to just keep this person and then allow the centre forward to run into the pocket to get the ball. If you have an overhead pass, obviously that's on. Overhead is the best option here if you have it, but if you're a young team, you won't have that yet. It's essentially down to these two to make lateral runs and put chaos in their minds. When you make these runs as well, it's about creating this area of separation. So you've got to lead at pace, okay, to get the ball. Another thing you can do is don't take it up here. So you can take a 16 from anywhere beyond the top of the D. So you can take it from here, just get the ball moving really early, don't let them set. This is my preferred press. This is what I would get my team to do. It's called a W press. It's like or an M press if you like. We call it a W because it's based on the team looking this way. It would make a W for them. It makes it really difficult because that's not on. This isn't on. If they transfer, okay, to this channel, this person's got them. This person can't then react. So what do you do in this one? You just transfer it. That is your only option, really. Unless you can play through it. So if you did play into this player and they quickly like make this sort of S shape through here, you can do it if you've got the skillful players. But if not, then you just transfer it. When that happens, your wing back is going to go right out to the touchline, create as much space to make time for decisions. They're all going to scuttle across. So we provide an out. The other centre back will say, okay, if it comes out, I've got your back. We can offer the transfer. The right wing back at this instance, just thinking counter defense, going to come in. Our centre half would come over, look for space. Our centre forward would come over. And if nothing's on, we just transfer it again. But that again is in the next video. Let's say you've scored a few goals and the team's like, right, crikey, there's no point high pressing them. Let's try a half court press. Well, in this instance, I would say as a centre back, this person doesn't have to be this far. This person could be right up here. Nice, quick, easy transfer. You only come this far back if they're pressing high. But I just occupy a space. I just take it, wait until you're engaged, and then do the same as we just talked about. If they're disorganized, flip it this way. If they're really super organized, look to transfer it and then make your decision. So that's it for video 1. Hope it makes sense. And video 2, we're going to look to turn it into more of an attacking opportunity.